Julia grew up in a small house in the suburbs, surrounded by the sound of tambourines and the scent of freshly sewn fabric. Her mother, Donna Marta, was a seamstress who made carnival costumes, and her grandfather, Seu Amaro, was a former mestresala who always told her, "Samba is not just a dance, it's soul, it's history." Since childhood, Julia had been mesmerized by the rehearsals, watching the pasistas and dreaming of one day being among them. But reality was harsh. Her family always struggled to make ends meet, and her mother believed Julia should focus on her studies and pursue a stable job. Despite her love for carnival, Donna Marta feared her daughter would follow an uncertain path. Even so, Julia hid a pair of samba shoes under her bed and practiced alone every night, following videos of past drum queens. At the neighborhood samba school, she always attended rehearsals, even though she wasn't allowed to participate. She knew every beat of the drums, every choreography by heart. But no one noticed her. To the school directors, she was just another girl passionate about carnival, without a place to shine. Until one rehearsal night, everything changed. One evening, she asked her mother if she could go watch her favorite school's rehearsal. "Mom, please, let me go to the rehearsal tonight, just to watch. I promise I'll be back early," Julia pleaded. "Julia, how many times have we talked about this? Carnival is beautiful, but it doesn't put food on the table. You need to focus on your studies," said Donna Marta. "But Mom, just this once, I feel like I was born for this. I don't want to just watch from the stands. I want to be part of it, to feel the energy of the avenue," Julia insisted. "Oh, my daughter, if only it were that easy. I know this world. I know its struggles. I just don't want you to suffer," said Donna Marta. "What would truly make me suffer is never trying. Please let me go, Mom. Just tonight," Julia begged. Sighs. "All right, Julia, but go and come straight home. And be careful, okay?" said Donna Marta. "Thank you, Mom. I promise I'll behave," said Julia. One of the lead pasistas suffered an injury and could no longer perform in the parade. Panic took over the organizers. Finding someone just as skilled and on such short notice seemed impossible. That's when Seu Amaro, with his wise gaze and discreet smile, pointed at Julia and said, "That girl has samba in her feet and fire in her soul. Give her a chance." All eyes turned to the young woman and her heart raced. This was the opportunity she had waited for her entire life. But was she ready? "Grandpa, what do I do? Everyone thinks I'm just a dreamer. No one believes in me," Julia said. "My granddaughter, do you think I became a mestresala overnight?" Seu Amaro replied. "But what if I'm not good enough? What if I make a mistake in front of everyone?" Julia asked. "Fear is part of the game, but do you know what makes a true sambista? It's not just the moves, it's the heart. Do you feel the samba inside you?" Lightly taps his chest. Seu Amaro said, "Grandpa, it's like every beat of the drums is my own breath." Julia whispered, "Then you already have everything you need. The rest is letting your soul speak for you. When you step onto the avenue, remember, samba already lives inside you," Seu Amaro said. The official rehearsal was about to begin, but Julia still felt the weight of her mother's words. "Carnival is not a future, my daughter. You need a stable job," Donna Marta always said, trying to protect her from the struggles she had seen so many women face. But Julia couldn't give up. The call of samba was stronger than any fear. Even knowing her mother wouldn't approve, she decided to go to the rehearsal. When she arrived, all eyes turned to her. Some experienced pasistas looked at her with disdain, whispering among themselves, "Look who showed up, thinking she can shine without even knowing how to samba properly," mocked Vanessa, one of the school's most respected dancers. "I bet she doesn't even have money for a costume. How does she plan to parade? Borrowed clothes?" Another pasista laughed. Their words cut like knives, but Julia kept her head high. She knew she had no money for a costume, but she also knew her passion for samba was bigger than any obstacle. That's when Seu Amaro, her grandfather and a former mestresala of the school, walked up to her and held her hands firmly. "My granddaughter, samba is not about money or status. If your soul dances, we'll find a way," he said, looking into her eyes with pride. Julia felt a lump in her throat. She wanted this chance so badly, but how could she step onto the avenue without a costume, without her mother knowing, with so many trying to bring her down? Then Donna Celia, an old seamstress from the school, stepped forward, her eyes filled with determination. I've seen too many girls lose their dreams because of envy and lack of opportunity, but I won't let that happen to you, my dear, she said, taking Julia's measurements. I'll make your costume myself. You were born to shine, and no one will stop you. Tears rolled down Julia's face. Finally, someone believed in her. Now, the biggest challenge wasn't just dancing, it was proving she deserved to be there. And you? Have you ever faced challenges while chasing a dream? Comment below and share your story. Julia was at the center of a silent battle, but her heart beat with unshakable faith. The costume of her dreams, the one she knew would transform her on that magical night, was far beyond her financial reach. The price was impossible for her to afford. But deep inside, she felt certain everything would work out. She believed that somehow the universe would conspire in her favor. The following weeks were filled with hard work. She gave her all in rehearsals, pouring her soul into samba, mastering every step. With each movement, she felt her talent bloom, as if she were fulfilling a destiny written by something greater than herself. The pressure of her financial struggles weighed on her, but her faith remained unshaken. She had this strong feeling that something good was about to happen. But in the world of competition, the fight was getting tougher. A famous woman, known for her beauty and charm, also wanted to be in the parade. She had already spoken to the school's president and even secured a sponsor for her costume, one that would be absolutely stunning. To many, she seemed like the obvious choice, the star that would make the school shine on the big night. But no one had counted on Julia's strength. She wasn't rich or famous, but she had something money and fame couldn't buy. Pure talent, an emotional connection to samba, and a beauty that captivated everyone. While the famous woman pushed hard to take Julia's spot, the school leaders were mesmerized. It wasn't just Julia's skill that impressed them, it was her passion, her intensity. When she danced, it was as if her soul moved with every step. She didn't need a famous name or corporate sponsors. She had something priceless, a deep, undeniable connection to the art. But the famous woman didn't give up. She reminded the leaders that she had financial backing and could bring a network of sponsors, putting quiet pressure on them to remove Julia. Rumors spread that she was trying to win over key figures in the school to secure her place. The competition was heating up, and the leadership was divided. Caught in this invisible battle, Julia didn't fully understand what was at stake. All she knew was that when she stepped onto that runway, she wasn't there to compete with anyone. Her only goal was to give her best, to make the school shine, and to feel the energy of that long-awaited night. She had a strong sense that something extraordinary was about to happen. And despite the doubting eyes and the famous woman's pressure, she held on to her faith that destiny would guide her to where she belonged. But time was running out. With her heart pounding, Julia didn't know what awaited her. Would her faith be strong enough to withstand the pressure and dirty tricks? The parade was getting closer, and her fate in the competition remained uncertain. Julia was sitting in a corner of the samba court, trying to hide her worry. The parade was getting closer, and no matter how much faith she had, the reality was harsh. She didn't have the money for her costume. That's when the school director approached her with a mysterious smile. "Julia, I need to talk to you." He paused, noticing her tense expression. "I know you've been worried about your costume, but I want you to trust our school." Her eyes widened and her heart started racing. "What do you mean, Director?" He smiled. "We found a sponsor for you, a singer who loves our school, heard your story, and decided to cover all the costs of your costume. You're going to step onto the avenue with everything you deserve." Julia covered her face with her hands, unable to believe what she was hearing. "Is this real?" "More real than ever. Now go rest because the avenue is waiting for you." With tears in her eyes, Julia felt her heart overflow with gratitude. Her dream was more alive than ever. The night had finally arrived. The Samba School parade was at its most anticipated moment, and the school Julia represented was about to enter the avenue. The sound of the drums echoed powerfully, making the ground vibrate, and the crowd waited anxiously. Behind the scenes, Julia took a deep breath, adjusting the stunning costume that sparkled under the bright lights of the Sambadrome. As the first chords of the Samba Enredo played, the school marched forward with determination. Then, the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived, Julia stepped onto the avenue. A brief silence was quickly replaced by an explosion of cheers and applause. The impact was immediate. She wasn't a celebrity, she wasn't a veteran of the parades, but at that moment no one had any doubts. Julia was a star. Her movements were precise, natural, full of grace and passion. Every step she took seemed to mesmerize the judges, who watched in awe. The way she glided across the pavement with such lightness contrasted with the explosive energy radiating from her body. Her smile shone as brightly as the rhinestones on her costume, and the crowd erupted with every perfect spin she performed. Reporters, keen on every detail, wondered who this young woman was, dominating the avenue with such mastery. Camera flashes lit up her path, and microphones stood ready to capture her story. Who was Julia? Where did this woman come from? The one capturing hearts with her dance. The judges exchanged glances. Something extraordinary was happening. There was magic in the way she danced, as if every drumbeat was connected to her heart. The samba school was already a favorite, but Julia was elevating the performance to an entirely new level. And the crowd was ecstatic. Shouts of admiration and nonstop applause echoed through the stands. Julia's name was repeated like a mantra by the spectators, completely captivated by her talent. It was impossible to take their eyes off her. She was samba. She was art. She was the soul of the avenue. A mysterious, famous singer, hidden among the spectators, watched it all with a quiet smile. She knew she had bet on the right person. Julia wasn't just a dancer, she was a phenomenon. The parade continued, but no one would forget that night. Julia had become the biggest name of the carnival, and her story was only beginning. The following year, the entire country would know her journey, as a new title was already waiting for her, the school's main muse. And so, under the dazzling lights and the rhythm of samba, Julia made history. The night of the parade had come to an end, but for Julia, the moment felt like a dream. She, a simple young woman with unshakable talent and faith, had achieved the impossible. With her perfect steps and captivating samba, she had led her samba school to victory. The applause echoing through the arena was like a symphony, a reward for her dedication and effort, but also confirmation of what she already knew. Destiny had something great in store for her. The atmosphere at the samba school was pure euphoria, but in the middle of the celebration, Julia still felt a mystery in the air, something she couldn't quite understand. There was something inexplicable about the fact that she was there, in that special moment, so different from anything she had imagined. And then, when she was called to the stage to receive her medal and recognition for her performance, a great surprise happened. The samba school president, with an enigmatic smile, announced that Julia wouldn't just be one of the stars that night. She would receive a new title, the main muse of next year's carnival. The crowd cheered in unison, but what no one knew was that this victory was even sweeter for Julia. Deep in her heart, she knew her journey was about more than just samba. It was something mysterious and unexplainable, something connected to a higher force. But before the celebrations ended, a figure appeared on stage. A woman who, until then, was a total stranger to Julia. She was dressed simply, but her eyes shone with deep mystery. The school president revealed that this was the person responsible for helping Julia achieve her dream, without ever revealing herself before. The mysterious singer, whose identity no one knew, finally stepped forward. It was the most beloved and admired singer of all, Rihanna. She had secretly paid for Julia's costume, a gesture that changed her life. But what shocked everyone the most was that she didn't want any recognition. Her only wish was to see the young woman shine, because as she said herself, Julia is more than a samba muse. She is a muse of life. With a proud smile, Rihanna simply said, "True victory comes from within, and you, Julia, are already a winner." Then just like that, she disappeared, leaving everyone with the feeling that the mystery wasn't over yet. Julia, with tears in her eyes and a heart full of gratitude, realized that her path was not just about dance and competition. It was a journey of faith, resilience, And above all, love for art. She had won not just the parade, but also in life itself. And as she was officially named the main muse of next year's carnival, she knew this was only the beginning of a journey that would take her even further. But the mystery wasn't over. Soon she would face a new challenge, becoming the main muse, the center of attention, and confronting the famous woman who had tried to take her place. How did she overcome the rivalry and secure her title in such a surprising way? Find out everything in the next video where Julia's true battle will be revealed. Don't miss the next episode where Julia, now the main muse, faces the famous rival and proves that faith, talent, and overcoming obstacles are unstoppable.